You do all the talking and I'll wave at the end.
Thanks for coming.
This is quite an unforgiving kind of sport. It's something that you need to know what you're doing as soon as you turn up.
My name's Pete Bantovich. I work with Andrea Locatelli as his mechanic, along with 2 others.
I'm Russ Joyner and I work for paddock Yamaha Pro Meteon World Superbike team. My role in the team is mechanic with Toprak.
I went to be a doctor. Yeah, took a wrong turn. Went to, do my medical degree and tripped over into a bike shop.
I had no idea about that.
The shop I was working for had a small racing team and here we are. No idea, it's just happened. Everybody will have their specific job because routine speeds everything up. You're not having to, okay, today you're doing this, today you're doing that. You work out a routine.
We're all capable of doing everything that's required on the bike, but like Pete says, you know, I'll concentrate maybe on the front end. Bonner will do the clutch, other engine parts. From time to time we do cross over and mix and match a little bit. So the weekend will start on the Tuesday, which is the team's travel day, and basically every member of the team will arrive at the circuit. Trucks will be unpacked. We have 2 articulated trucks. All the equipment comes out of there. All the garage boarding, bikes, toolboxes, everything gets assembled in the garage. Get it all together, make it look all presentable, and then we'll start work on the bikes.
And then working on the bikes, we'll normally have an engine change. So we'll put a higher mileage engine in for the Friday, and then we'll remove that on Friday night. Apart from, we'll also do a machine prep, depending on what happened the weekend before. If there was a crash, fix that, but just a general prep. And then we'll go into Friday.
Friday we'll start with FP1, which is our first opportunity to get the rider settled on the bike, check the settings. The bikes are very rarely absolutely perfect from the end of FP1.
That's true.
So we'll then look at the data that we receive from the bike and the rider feedback. Setting changes will be made, and then we'll have another go for FP2 later in the afternoon.
The crew chiefs will have a plan. If there's a setup change, we'll be ready. We'll have the parts ready if they want to back-to-back a setup. Normally you just change 2 tyres, maybe even not that, depending on the track, depending if the rider just needs to learn it, or it's normally not so much first practice. It's get laps, find out what you need to do and make changes between the 2 sessions. Saturday will be FP3, finish off setup, straight into qualifying, see where you end up, and then straight to the race. So Saturday's like one of the busiest days we've got, a really busy day. He's going to want us out really fast as soon as we've gone. Fuel weight, that's really important. You don't want to be carrying too much fuel.
Qualifying tyre, fuel weight, like Pete said, maybe a tiny adjustment on suspension to assist with the softer tyre, but really that's about it. A lot of it really then just comes down to the rider's ability.
The other thing we do, the pair of them really work together a lot, towing each other, you know, to give themselves the best chance. So other teams do it, but we definitely concentrate on that. One will follow one and then they'll swap and change to the other, so it works good.
Sunday, we have warm-up in the morning, very short session. It's just another opportunity to make any final adjustments from data that we'll receive on Saturday, getting ourselves ready for the Super Pole race, which is a 10-lap shootout, gets you grid position for race 2, the main race on the Sunday. Hopefully that all goes to plan, no dramas. As soon as the bikes come back from the race, then it's all hands on deck, pack down, back in the truck and move on to the next circuit. When the bike arrives at the grid, it will go into its position that you've gained in your qualifying. The rear wheel will come out, the front wheel will come out, so fresh rubber will go into the bike. Once you've got that done, because that is an absolute priority, then you have, what have we got, 4-5 minutes? Yeah. We have roughly around 5 minutes of time that we can actually carry out a task on the bike.
Yeah, so we're talking about the grid trolley, going to the grid. It's got capacity for 4 wheels, 2 front, 2 rear. Normally you just take 1 front, 1 rear. It's got tools inside that you need to do wheel change, obviously, and a small selection of other tools just to check the bike.
In a really rare situation, a decision may be made by the rider on his outlap that he wants to try something different.
If it's wet, if it rains just before you go out and you haven't got time in the box to change, you'll do some changes on the grid.
You may change a rear shock on the grid, but that's no drama. That's
steady away.
Really super easy and fast to do. The tensest moment.
The worst moment is, it's hard if you have a small crash and super minimal time or a problem. We're very lucky because the bike, we very rarely have problems.
It would have, for me, would have to be a crash situation where you've got to get that bike rebuilt really quick. That's a real thrash then, isn't it?
Because you're having to really quickly prioritise between getting out and safety, and you can't be afraid to make a call that, sorry boys, that's it, it's over.
And of course, if a bike's crashed, the rider brings it in, if it's still rideable, then you've got everybody in the garage, camera crews, photographers, everyone's watching what you're doing. It's not a really nice environment to actually be in that moment. That's a lot of pressure. Yeah. There's a lot of pressure on you then.
È difficile capire, ma sembra di sì, tutto davanti è storto, ma tirato via tutto davanti. Se non succederà qualcosa nei primi 3 giri, le gare finite.
I would say, we can have a bike that's in a really pretty bad state, back sorted out within sort of 25 minutes, around that.
top, all the tops are all.
But the
Yeah, calipers are right. Yeah, I'll double check.
We're fortunate enough to be in a position where we have lots of sub-assembly parts, big parts of the bike which are all pre-assembled. So we can get that done really quite quickly, unless it's in two pieces, then it's a different matter. But we have to obviously make a calculated decision. Is this bike retrievable? If it is, we'll go at it. If it isn't, then that's our session done with.
Once it's into the realms of broken chassis, and at that point you just get the spare bike, and if you're allowed to use it, you can do a pretty big repair in the time between sessions or two races. So. We get asked at the back of the garage quite a lot, and I would say the best way, if you want to do it, because you don't know if you like it or not, go to a race track near and offer to work. People will always accept free work. Go and find out what it's like, and if you think you're worth something, ask for some money.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, you have to do it for free.
So like Pete said, for sure you need to get yourself involved in a small team that's working at a national level, something like this. Literally offer your services for nothing.
Yeah.
Learn the ropes and then just start to pick your way through the ranks.
Yeah. Be prepared to deal with disaster after disaster after disaster. And a lot of good things, but there'll be plenty of disasters.
I'm still astonished that you went to medical school.
Yeah, I did, yeah, medical school, yeah.
You didn't?
No, I didn't, no. Absolutely did not. I wish I had. I wouldn't be sat here.
You're bleeding all the time. You don't know how to fix yourself.